podcast listeners. This is Cindy Chen. I am your host for the rest of your life, My Childhood Suitcase. Today, I have another guest, a new guest joining me to unpack his suitcase. He was my co-star in the female version of The Odd Couple. He has lots of dreams and ambitions of going places. Please welcome Jack Carper. I say Carper, Carper. Jack, hi. Jack. Welcome to my pod. Welcome to my suitcase.
I'm very excited to be on here. I had a great time being with you in The Odd Couple, and when you texted me that you wanted me to be on the podcast, I had to say yes because I've never been on a podcast before, so this is a good opportunity for me and also a good opportunity for us to connect as well.
That is wonderful. Can you tell the listeners about yourself?
So I am a 25-year-old person. I did 3 theater performances last year. 2 of them were performances without music, and then the third one was a musical. I really dived into the theater world, and while theater may not be a job or a profession of mine, I am looking forward to continuing to build my life, and I've built a strong foundation from my family who's created a really strong base for me. A lot of my life is like healing from the things that happened to me in my teenage years and trying to live my best life despite those things happening.
You want to tell me more about it?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was very competitive with baseball, and I had a lot of people who were competing with me, and there were some people who were sometimes jealous or didn't like the way that I went about my business. I was always very hardworking and didn't talk a lot and was a kind person. So some people just thought that they could try to manipulate me or get the best of me because of my kindness. And, unfortunately, while those things happened, I don't regret anything that happened because I've learned from my experiences of being in a tough situation, and I'm learning to live my life now, even though that thing did happen. And it's made me someone who can appreciate myself more and appreciate the world more because I know what it means to value myself. I know my self-worth, and I know that I've developed a sense of self-worth, or at least I began to recognize it because of the times where I was down. So now that I've come from a place where that happened, I can begin to recognize that I do have a lot of value.
Dude, that sounds so amazing. I've actually known a few men who are actually getting in touch with themselves.
Yeah.
You mentioned some time ago during our rehearsals that you have a therapist.
Yes.
And that how's that going for you?
Therapy is going very well. Therapy is something that I think everyone should have if it's accessible to them. Therapy is something that I've learned to use to help me gain a better understanding of myself. And also, a lot of times we try to go about life on our own, and we don't realize that a lot of people are actually cheering us on and seeing the good in us. Mm-hmm. And so many times when we're going through our lives, we tend to see or we try to see the negatives in what we do because a lot of people want to succeed and do well. And so we have this critical voice in our head that tries to tell us things we should improve on. I think that comes from the survival mechanism in our body.
Yeah.
Our brains are wired to survive. And so a lot of times when things are uncomfortable, we will beat our own selves up to try to protect ourselves from pain. But in reality, the truth is when we accept or let the light shine in to ourselves, what we find is instead of forcing things or forcing ourselves to other people, we begin to attract other people. And letting that light in is hard because we want to look good for other people and please other people. But the biggest part of healing is seeing that your value is more than just your work and just your production. Your value comes from who you are as a person and what you bring to the world. And that's hard to see because we live in a world, especially in the United States, where it's all about money and capitalism, and that can be unfortunate because it hides who we truly are. And I think embracing who you truly are is extremely important. And I guess therapy can help you just see the good in yourself rather than seeing all of the bad.
That's just really really cool. Can you let's see. This different. So you definitely have detached yourself from the whole household culture, as you put it.
Yeah, most definitely. I used to be someone who was addicted to the hustle culture, and I still am to a certain extent. I think I am beginning to learn that no matter how much work you do, it never is enough. So you could always do a lot of work, but you never feel satisfied. So I think for me, it's important to like find who you truly are, because when you find who you truly are, you begin to do things that matter for you. And when you do things that matter to you, you don't get burned out. A lot of times people get burned out because they're doing things that they don't really enjoy. And so they get tired of it and they don't want to do it, but they convince themselves they do want to do it. What I found is I do still get burned out a lot. And I'm beginning to question myself, like, well, maybe the things I'm doing are not for me anymore. Maybe the things that are burning me out are not for me. Maybe the burnout is a sign that I should go towards things that make me energetic. A lot of times I've noticed that when I go for energy and go for the things that make me really happy, it may be scary at first, but I attract people and things much easier when I'm being really energetic. Do you feel that way, Cindy?
Oh yeah, I've been feeling like that in, let's see, a little over, I'd say maybe 2 years, at most 2 years, because I've done a lot. I have done so much of the soul work for the last maybe, wow, it's been, I would say I've done a lot in 4 years. Process, because I've been in I too myself was in survival mode for a little 20 years because of an ex. More on that later. But but I had learned to process everything, and I mean everything, because of this wonderful girl who wrote a 2-part memoir by Gabrielle Stone. So shout out to you, Gabrielle. So thank you so much. I don't have the books with me right now, but because I think they're all downstairs. Anyway, she definitely opened everything up for me, and I processed everything. And now, last year I had started this program by this what you call a transformation mentor.
Nice.
With Jen. That part.
That's awesome.
Thank you. That part, I did a lot of processing last year. Let's start living your life. And that's what I've been doing. And when we met doing the female odd couple, I was in a much better place.
Okay.
Much better place.
Do you feel now that things are turning against you, or life has been harder for you more recently?
That is really funny that you should ask, because less than 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with an agent. I'm not going to tell you the name of the agency, because I'm keeping it private or something. But it didn't work out, because I am currently seeking representation.
That's great, though.
Thank you.
You should give yourself credit just for that right there. Seeking representation in acting is very difficult.
Oh yeah, I have been building all this momentum of a fire horse to make my dreams come true. Because giddy up, bitches! It is the year of the fire horse.
I didn't know we were allowed to swear on the podcast. Well, that opens up my voice a little bit then.
You're definitely allowed to cuss. I don't care, because you can drop a few F-bombs. That's all right.
I'll make sure to plant one in there if necessary.
That sounds good to me. So at any rate, I had a pretty rough week, and so I decided to be gentle with myself, because like yourself, I too would always beat myself up when things sometimes don't go right. Make myself feel better, but developed a lot of I've developed new tools to keep my keep myself keep my head up and being talking to my inner little girl, or rather
That's great.
the inner teenage girl, to say it's okay. This didn't work. This didn't work out because it probably would have sucked anyway.
Yeah, and I do want to touch on that point you mentioned about you're talking with your inner teenage self or younger self. There's a person on Instagram who I follow who they say that you're the type of person that makes your inner child proud, and that's brave because a lot of people have a disconnect between the person they were when they were younger
Mm-hmm.
and then to the person they are now. Some of that's not always their fault. Some of that is because life has conditioned them to go away from their values and their morals, and they have become a person who is not a full version of themselves, but they can still come back to themselves. And the fact that you're connecting with your inner child is incredible because that means that you're still connected with your inner child, and that inner child, 10, 20 years ago would be cheering for you now and be grateful that you're there to defend them.
Why, thank you. That is really sweet.
Yeah, I heard that on an Instagram video from someone that I follow, and then I think what I did was I put my younger self as my background picture on my phone for a long time.
Oh, how old is your younger self whenever you speak to yourself?
Well, I think they're about 3 or 4. God, I was so awesome when I was like 3 or 4. Very kind, very compassionate.
Oh, I bet you were.
Thank you. And going back to that person is something that I'm honestly trying to do, and I have done, but I still have a lot of more work to do there. So the fact that you're doing that is great.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you're doing some soul work on yourself as well.
Yes, I wouldn't even call it soul work. I just call it work that helps you become, the person you've always wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
That person is someone who's begging you to show themselves to the world. That person who you really love is begging you to show them to the world. And it's going to be scary because not everyone will agree with you. But if you do it, you'll get the love and respect and the generosity you've always been looking for, and in general, for anyone. And that's one of the hardest things in life to do is to show your true self because of the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
And, if you could do it or I could do it, that means anyone can.
Yeah, totally. And that I listened to this podcast called Happier with Gretchen Rubin. So shout out to you, Gretchen, too.
Nice.
Yeah, she said something. I listened to her today, a 2-minute audio, something about it may get a little scary, but you come out stronger in the end.
That's great. What is the what makes it scary when you're watching?
When I'm watching, what makes it scary for me is judgment.
Oh, that's interesting, actually.
Being judged by, I would say people who may not like me. Heaven knows, God knows who might be judging me, whether it be online trolls or someone who's someone with multiple accounts. I mean, you'd be very surprised how many of the accounts come from the same IP address. That only happens. I've come across a conspiracy, something about how most of the internet is dead.
Really?
Well,
I guess a lot of the internet is. I would say a lot of the internet is still going and alive, but there are some things that you do want to avoid. I agree. That
you have to question. Say, wait a minute. This sounds a bit familiar. Like there are many things like Reddit and some of the other bulletins where one person would create multiple accounts just to create a little drama. But I always stay away from that.
I'm sorry that happened to you because, what I found on Instagram is a lot of people that I don't agree with anymore or don't really, I wouldn't even say I don't agree with, a lot of people that I don't feel a good energy with, I unfollow.
I agree.
Just for my own peace.
Yeah.
Those people are living their lives and they're great, and I wish them nothing but the best, and I'm going to let them be who they're going to be, but I just don't want to allow their negative energy to impact my life. So I'm just doing it for my own peace.
Yeah, dude, fucking let them.
Yeah, there's Mel Robbins has a whole podcast about the let them theory, and she's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, I follow Mel Robbins a lot on Instagram.
That's cool, man.
She talks about the let them theory and how you should just let people be who they're going to be, because you can't control their behavior. So,
but you can control how you feel around it.
Yeah, and all your feelings are natural. All your feelings are. What I've learned through going to therapy is that you actually have 0% control over your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Feelings are like storm clouds, or not even storm clouds. They're just like clouds. They will come into your brain. They'll sit there for a minute or two, and then they'll eventually trail off. And you have 30% control over your thoughts. So a lot of the thoughts we have that we think we have control over, we don't have control over a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
So I think what a lot of us do is we begin to self-blame or to label ourselves based on the feeling or thought we're having.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't go after our dreams or our ambitions because of the fear of not being good enough. But a lot of these feelings and thoughts we have, we don't control. So if there's a way to separate your thoughts and feelings from who you are, we can really see who we really are. And I'm still working on that, because a lot of times I blame myself for the thoughts and feelings that I have.
Oh yeah, totally. I absolutely fucking agree on that.
I fucking agree too. There's my one.
I am so happy that you're realizing it. You're becoming so self-aware. You're at a young age. Not a lot of people can do that.
And I think you're very self-aware as well. I mean, you're here hosting your own podcast and putting yourself out there, and sharing the world that you want to be a part of, and that is incredible. I've considered potentially doing my own podcast, and the idea of sharing your story and your learnings. I think a lot of a good podcast is like you share the learnings you have to give insight to others to inspire them too.
Ooh, exciting!
Yeah.
That be your theme?
Well, I don't know if it'd be my theme. I just think it would be a theme for anyone who is hosting a podcast, is to share their learnings and their positive energy to others, so that they can they can harness their power.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think that it's a powerful thing to do that.
Dude, that is so cool. If you are launching the podcast, I'll definitely start listening to it.
Thank you. That would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I would be a little scared to do that, but I think that through my courage, I bet I could if I tried.
Dude, I was really super scared when I started launching it last year.
Yeah.
Until I finally put it out there, and I said, "Oh, I don't sound too bad."
Yeah, I remember when I was with you in the play Odd Couple. Yeah, you had your podcast going, and that's great. You've been doing it for this long, and yeah, the same thing for me. I feel like when I hear my own voice, I begin to freak out because I get all scared that I sound like a baby.
You don't sound too bad.
That's great. I'm glad that you're hearing me and can say that, because a lot of times I feel like my voice doesn't sound great over a camera or a microphone. But that is, again, that's a part of learning who we are, even though we feel so negative or so self-distraught over how we sound over the microphone, when in reality it's more about who we are and what we have to share. It doesn't matter necessarily about how we sound.
Mm-hmm. Were you scared too when you had your big scene coming up?
In The Odd Couple?
Mm-hmm. By the way, he played one of the Costazuela brothers in the play.
I had a great time. I was with Nathan Cardenas. He was my other brother, the Costazuela brother.
What was the toughest part?
The toughest part was preparing. At the time, I was in a job that I enjoyed, but I knew that I liked acting more, and I had to spend more time on the job. I was a dance instructor. I had to spend more time working on my dance moves than I did on my acting, and it impacted my performance a little bit. So once I actually left the job, I was able to spend more time on my acting, which helped my performance, I think.
Oh yeah, when we met at the callbacks, you did mention something about being a dance teacher at Arthur Murray. Is that right?
Yes, that was it. Yeah, I had a good experience there. They have a really good program, and I had a good time there, but I just wanted to pursue acting a little bit more, so I decided to focus more of my time on acting rather than being an instructor there. And I thought it went well because after I stopped working there, I got a role in my first musical, so it really worked out.
Yeah, dude. You were on a roll that time. Can you tell the listeners what musical you were in?
Yeah, so I was cast in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, and it was my first musical. Oh my goodness!
I'm so sorry I missed that. It was all sold out.
I know it was sold out, and it was at Edmonds Driftwood Players, which is in Edmonds, Washington, which is just about 20 minutes north of downtown Seattle.
Just about a little bit up north. I'd say about 25 miles north. Yes, about right.
Yeah, you just hop on the freeway and it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
But the sad thing was I couldn't actually perform.
Really?
Yeah, I got in a car accident on the way to rehearsals.
Oh no! What? Jesus! What happened? You didn't tell me about that.
I know. I
happened?
Didn't tell anyone. I haven't told anyone in the cast about it. To be honest, I think I told one person, but it was very briefly via Instagram text.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the way to rehearsal, and I was driving on Interstate 5, and some person behind me was coming up really fast, about to hit me in the rear end. I know, and it was really scary.
Jesus, dude.
I know. It was like we were running a race, and the person was about to pass me, except they were running right into me. So I didn't have a way to get out of the way.
Oh my God.
So kind of like if you're in a track meet with someone coming in behind you really fast, I swerved into the left lane to avoid the collision.
Yeah.
Luckily, the person that was about to rear end me didn't actually rear end me, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up hitting someone in the left lane that was different than the person that was coming in fast.
Oh my God, Jesus.
It was a catastrophe. I'm telling you, it was a catastrophe because, I really wanted to perform, and I couldn't because I got a concussion, and I was really mentally sick. Because, yeah.
You got a concussion?
Yes, I did. I got a concussion.
Ah, jeez.
But, I think it was for the best because acting is something that I do love and I do enjoy, and I don't necessarily know if I want to pursue it as a career.
It wasn't. And I thought you mentioned back then that you wanted to pursue it as a career.
Yes, back then I did, but I think that I've changed my perspective a little bit. I enjoy acting, but sometimes I do it to fit in for other people, and I enjoy the spotlight of being in front of people to get their attention. But a lot of times I don't enjoy it for myself. And so while I was spending a lot of time doing acting, I feel like the car accident was a blessing in disguise from God or from whoever to take me away from it so I could focus more time on myself.
Huh.
And that's exactly what happened.
Huh. So wait a minute. You couldn't perform in you couldn't get into any of the shows?
No, because
when you got in an accident.
Yeah, my car accident happened about a month before opening day. I had to miss a week of rehearsals due to the concussion. And it got so bad where I just had to leave the cast because I wasn't going to be ready to perform by opening night because I wasn't prepared enough because I was missing rehearsal.
That bad?
Yeah, it was, it was sad, but I think it was for the best, to be honest.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that you had to bow out. Was it an important part?
I was in the ensemble, so I was a character, or I was multiple characters. Didn't have many lines. I was an ensemble character is basically someone who works in the background, but is still on stage and has to do a lot of dancing. So I had a big part, even though I wasn't a main character. But I knew that acting wasn't something I wanted to pursue as a profession, but I was still forcing it anyway. So I feel like this car accident was life saying, Jack, I want to get you in the right direction. Even though this is unfortunate, we have to do something to steer your life in the right direction. Unintended, steer your life in the right direction.
Right.
I love puns. But it helped me because it allowed me to focus on myself. Because after I left the cast for the next month, I really focused on my mental health. I focused on finding a job that was right for me. I focused on being myself again, and I really have come back to myself, and it's really been a good thing. Have you ever had an experience like that where you're in something that you kind of like, but you don't really like that much, and something from the divine, like God helps you with something that you didn't expect?
I have to think about that, but
it is a big question. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's a really deep, profound question, and I thank you for that. I know that when the agent asked me that, her first question was, "What was your availability?" And I said, I work from 7 to 4, which means I'm not available during the day for auditions or shoots, because she didn't ask any of the questions that I thought she was going to ask, like, what are your short-term and long-term goals? Tell me about yourself. What's your castability, etc., etc. No, she just asked me that question about my availability as if I were applying for a job. Nah.
Gotcha.
She gave me a lot of BS about how the industry is, and being at her beck and call on a moment's notice. No. In my mind,
it feel like transactional rather than person interaction?
Quite.
Aha.
It was very transactional, and the call only lasted about 6 minutes.
And that can happen with people who are trying to work with you just for a transaction rather than as a person. Unfortunately, a lot of our society is based on your production.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And thank you so much for validating that.
Yeah. I'm sorry you felt that. I'm sorry that happened. Because while acting is a great profession, if you want to pursue that, a lot of it is transactional, and you don't want everything to be transactional. While a lot of it is transactional, you do want to remember that you are a person and that you have things that you want to do, and that no agent or no person can tell you that who you are, and you have the right to make that decision for you.
Yes, thank you. I keep just recently I keep telling myself, no, I am the industry. It's the people it's the people in the higher ups that like to have us fight to the fucking death, like American Gladiators.
Yeah, and
I don't like that.
Well, that may benefit. Are you referring to like someone within a company who wants you to do well for the company?
I was just referring to something more personal. Like, if I want an agent who was willing to work for me, it has to be someone who sees me as a talented actress, not to fit his or her quota.
And I will say, you did a phenomenal job at The Odd Couple.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were very great at what you did. You mastered all of your lines. You seem to do it with ease.
Thank you.
Remember that you did a great job, and that you will continue to do a great job if you just believe in who you are as a person. Because what I've learned about a thing that you love to do is when you pursue something you love, it's not about the destination. It's not about the result. When you do something you love, it's about the journey that you go on as an individual and the journey you go on with others. And through that journey, you develop a sense of resiliency and a sense of identity. And as a result of that, you will get parts in a musical or a play as a side effect.
Enjoy the journey, not the destination. I mean,
Yeah.
no, actually, it's the journey it's a journey you have to embrace, not the destination.
Yes, and there was another person on Instagram who I follow that talked about there's a fallacy that exists, that the arrival fallacy. I think this person talked about how a lot of us, we like to believe that when we arrive at the goal that we've set out to do, that we are then successful and everything will work out. But we realize that when we're there, that we are just living in another moment and that there's always more to do. So we have to learn that it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey.
Mm-hmm. Do you mean that, let's see, how do I put this? You mean that once you finally get what you want, you either have a choice that you either find something else to do or that you get bored. Is that what you mean?
What I've found is that when you are achieving something you've always wanted to do, when you arrive at the destination you thought, there's always going to be another destination that you are shooting for. It's a never-ending cycle of wanting to find something else. And so while this achievement that you've created is great, you have to really appreciate your progress and the person that you've become, because if you only worry about the destination, you'll arrive there and then you'll be like, you know what, there's something more I need to do. There's more goals I want to pursue now. Mm-hmm. There's more goals I want to pursue because of where I've come. So while the arrival is great, it's always the journey, because
like winning an Oscar.
Yeah. I mean, I found that on that journey, the journey is constantly continuing, and you're always learning new things. So when you do arrive at something, you have changed as a person. You may look for something else to achieve now. So while that destination is great, you're always trying to achieve more. And I bet, when you were making the podcast, you were scared at first, but
it was.
Once you made the podcast, you're like, oh, okay, well, now there's more to do. Now I want to make a great podcast. Now I want to talk about these specific things. So while you arrived at that destination you wanted, there was always something more to do.
There's always, I can tell you one thing, there's always some more guests that I have to get on to, and there's definitely some things there's definitely some more things that I will talk about.
That's good. Yeah, it's good to share those things, because it's a good way to heal yourself. When you share it out loud, you separate it from yourself.
Yeah, definitely. You also keep a diary by any chance?
I do not, actually. I should write down my thoughts more, but I find it a weakness, because I feel that writing down my thoughts is almost like not tough, and I'm beginning to realize that
I don't think it's weak.
I know, and I agree with you. I'm beginning to learn that writing down your thoughts is actually a good thing. I just haven't created the time to do it because of this mindset that everything has to be hard and I have to always push through my problems. And I do agree that writing down your thoughts is a good thing. I just haven't given myself the time to do it.
You have the voice memos app on your phone, right?
Yes, I use that for whenever I want to record something, I use that. Yes.
Well, you can always use that to dictate your thoughts. So that way, when you play it back, you can always delete it. Like, oh my God, you can know how you sound and how you think, and always delete it if you.
That is true. The voice memos is a good tool. Are you talking about using that to talk about your thoughts and say your thoughts out loud?
Sometimes it's for some people it helps to write down their thoughts, and sometimes it helps other people to just talk it out on the microphone or something in the dictating machine.
Yeah, I that's something I should try, because
sometimes they would put it out on social media as a dear diary, I did this. Dear diary, I am in the pits.
And hey, I will say that does help, because when you're saying your thoughts out loud, it probably is freeing in a way, because you're separating your thoughts from who you are. And hey, if it helps, it helps. And I guess you could like put that on TikTok or Instagram or something if you really wanted to.
Oh yeah, I don't have TikTok, so I wouldn't know.
I don't either, actually. I just use Instagram mostly.
Yeah. Me too. Never really understood the whole TikTok thing, but I heard that it can be very, very addicting.
I think it can be addicting.
No offense to anyone using TikTok.
Videos, so they get your attention very quickly, and you want to just get that dopamine hit for 15 to 20 seconds, rather than having a video. The video's 3 to 4 minutes. You might not want to watch the whole thing because it's too long. So if you have a video that's 15 to 20 seconds, you might want to watch the whole thing. But I don't really use TikTok, so I don't really know its addiction. I don't really associate with it. So while it is a great app, I just don't really know how addictive it is, because I don't use it that much.
Well, for a lot of people, I've noticed that a friend of mine would be on her phone for maybe minutes on end, and turns out she's watching a bit of TikTok. Yeah,
and TikTok is a way to gain knowledge, but it also is a way to become addicted, because the system that
sometimes make asses of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, you could be on TikTok for an hour or more if you really wanted to, and it can be addictive. But I will say there's a lot of good people on TikTok who put a lot of good content on there, and you just have to find the right people on there. If you don't find the right people, you can always delete them or block.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have Facebook either?
I don't really use Facebook, to be honest. I was always told that Facebook was, Facebook, I think I missed it by a couple of years, because...
That's all right. You're not missing anything.
I mean, I started using Facebook in Instagram in 2012, I think. And I first started using social media in 2012. And Facebook had already become a thing before then, and I never used it.
Well, you rest assured you're not really missing much. I used to be on Facebook for 10 years, but that was when I was in college, to keep in touch with my high school friends and connect with my college friends. But then,
when were you in college?
I graduated a little over 10 years ago, from 2005 to 2013.
Okay.
And actually, I went to one university, and then I transferred to UW.
Oh, great! Well, that's good.
Because tuition was getting a little expensive, and I had to transfer to something something cheaper. But
that is fair. I bet the education you had was good, though.
Oh yeah, I had a really great insight. I actually wanted to study acting, but one of the professors said, no, that's a bit risky. Maybe go the safe route. I picked up accounting.
Yeah, I would never listen to that professor. Tell the professor, that you can achieve your dreams even if it seems scary.
Believe me, I had outside influences telling me, no, go this way, and no, go that. You have to go that way.
I will say there's a lot of outside influences in your life that are going to try to tell you things to protect you, but you learn that life is not about being protected from things. It's about embracing things and trying new things. And if you're trying to protect yourself from things, you'll never be able to embrace the things that are for you.
That's why one of my guiding beliefs is I let myself be seen without self-protection.
And that's one of the best quotes that I've ever heard right there.
Thank you.
You should post that on your wall. You should post it in your room. Can you send me that quote when we're done here?
Yes, certainly. I'll definitely send you 10 guiding beliefs if that will help.
Yes.
Repeat it.
Well, that quote you just said really resonated with me.
Thank you.
Some people go their whole lives without finding their true self because they're living a life in protective mode. And that's okay, because we want to survive and we don't want to show our true selves because of fear, but we need to learn to tell ourselves we're okay. We don't have to live in survival mode anymore, and we can find out who we truly are without self-protection by embracing.
Oh, yeah. Had there been what are the limiting, while we're on the topic of beliefs, were there any core limiting beliefs that have restricted you from actually living your life authentically?
Yes. I would say one of the core beliefs for living my life authentically is the need to make money and the need to be perfect.
Where does that come from?
I think it comes from my parents. They lived a very successful life. They work hard. They, make money, and they like, the things that they've done. And I think they try to tell me to always work and to make money because that may be the most important thing to them. But to me, I know that, life is more than money. If you see life for what it is, life is about love and empathy rather than money. And while money is important to help you do whatever you want to do, I feel like money is actually just a product of doing something you love. When you do something you love, money actually comes more freely to you. And when you do something that's forced, it actually doesn't come as much abundance as it could be.
What do your parents do?
My dad he works in like the tech industry in the Seattle area.
Okay.
And we've lived here for 19 years now.
And what does your mom do?
Oh, my mom, she doesn't work right now. She spends so much time raising me and my brother I actually have a twin brother, which is crazy. But she rose us for so long that she just really hasn't had time. And she's just been living at home, doing a lot of the activities she likes to do.
So the limiting belief was you got to bust your ass to earn money.
Exactly that. That's pretty much what they think, yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, that is pretty much the core beliefs. And if you don't do that, then you're considered, a loser, and you're considered lazy. And all your worth is put into your value in the workplace rather than your value as a person.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, where does that get you after you retire? And then you'd be, whoops, who are you outside the workplace?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, while giving so much time into a job you're never going to love, if you're going to do something you love, you might as well find out what that is.
Yeah.
And go for it. And acting is definitely something I do enjoy doing, not just for money. I just enjoy doing it. So maybe it will become a profession one day. But as of right now, I just like to do it for fun. And, yeah, this whole idea of busting your ass to make money, like, you should... if the listeners are listening and they want to know what my mindset is about the world, that quote right there, bust your ass to make money, is pretty much what I've been taught. So I think the biggest key to uncoiling that is like learning who you are through experience. When you learn that you're a great person with or without money, you begin to learn that your value doesn't come from money, but it comes from your intrinsic value as a person. And that takes some time to learn.
And have to rewire it into, actually reframing it into, money flows to me effortlessly.
And again, and that's another quote you should put on the wall or put on your podcast, like as the front page, because that is so true. Money flows to you effortlessly. That is correct when you do things that abide to your values and your morals. It flows to you with essence. Like a river, like a stream coming to your house, and you don't have to try to move the stream. The stream just flows. And just like everyone has a stream that flows within them, and a lot of times it's blocked by the storm clouds that are above. And if we can learn to find out who we truly are without money, those storm clouds can go away and that stream can reach us.
Wow. Dude, when have you started actually learning all this stuff? Is it after you graduated high school? And what, when you started therapy?
I've started learning it from all the Instagram people I follow.
Who's the first one?
There are a lot of people on Instagram who are really good people, who have a great message. And while there's a lot of people on Instagram who I don't agree with, again, I follow the people who vibe with me. And when I mean vibe, I mean give me the right energy. And through trials and experience in life, I have found out who I truly am. And I'm a kind, honest person who likes to be expressive of myself. And what happens is you go on Instagram and you find a community of people who share their values with you. And I've learned all these perspectives. I've learned all these things about life that it's kind of crazy, actually. The things that they say, I feel like are the exact message that I need each and every day. So if, say I am in a situation where I want to let go of someone in my life, but I'm scared to do it, on the day of me thinking that, I will wake up and go on Instagram. There will be a message that says, in order to live the life you truly want, you have to let go of some people who are not for you. And the crazy thing is like, holy crap, that message was meant for me that day, that hour, and that minute. And it seems to happen 3 to 4 times a week. So it seems to me that there are people out there who have the same values as me, and I'm just finally finding them. And I've been following these people for 2 to 3 years now, and they've really helped. So I would say there are people out there who can help you, and I've learned it through Instagram people.
Yeah, man. And who is the first account that you follow?
Well, do you think they would appreciate it if I said their name on here, or do you think it'll be okay?
I think he or she might appreciate it.
Okay.
I'll put it in the show notes if need be.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of people I do follow. I don't want to say the one person who I follow just because I don't know if they want me to say it. But someone that I do follow that's like that's a little bit bigger, like Mel Robbins is someone who I follow.
Oh yeah. She'll appreciate that.
Yes, and then Corey Muscara is someone else who I follow. He is someone that is actually, I think he lives in Seattle, and his quotes are very empathetic and true to the heart. And then there's other people I follow as well. I won't say their names on here just because I don't know. I'll let them have their privacy.
That's okay.
But they are all extremely beneficial people to me in my life, and they seem to have helped me in a very good way.
Oh.
Do you have people that you follow on social media that are like that?
Well, there's Jen, whose account I follow because of that program. She popped up into my feed one day.
That's great. How was that?
She's been such an amazing mentor, such an amazing game changer, and Gabrielle Stone, of course.
That is great. Is Gabrielle Stone? Who is she and what does she do?
She is actually the daughter of Dee Wallace, of E.T.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's her. That's her. Dee Wallace, and
that is incredible.
Yeah, and Gabrielle actually acted in a few movies, I believe. But she wrote, like I said, she wrote that 2-part memoir that definitely got to where she is today. And she just recently wrote a 3rd book, this time with her husband.
That is awesome.
I read that book within a week while I was away.
That's awesome. That's impressive that you could read it all in 1 week.
Yeah. Really, when you find a book that you find that you can't book down, when you find a book that one day you can't put down, and you feel like I've got to read this, then it's a really enjoyable one, and it's a good book.
And I bet that you've enjoyed it. What are some of the key points that you've taken from it?
Oh, let's see. When the universe is trying to show you something in front of you, like a mirror, you listen.
I agree with that. I've felt that too, all the time.
Oh yeah, and what else? If 1 or 2 people or 3 people are showing you a pattern, you listen. You look at the patterns, or find something to do with listen to the. I think it's something to do with the. If you're attracting the wrong kind of people, you should look at your shoes. Check your shoes.
And why should you look at their shoes? What does that mean?
Because your own shoes might be attracting some of the horse shit.
That's So you're saying that it's the shoes that are wrong. It's not you. It's more of the shoes that you need to fix.
No, it's more like the energy that you are. It's more like the energy you are giving out. Like say, let me put out an analogy here. When you say that you don't want lemon cake, and turns out you do get lemon cake. When you say you don't want this and that, when you say you don't want to attract when you don't want to attract an asshole, turns out you do attract an asshole.
And that's a great point. A lot of times I do tend to attract people that are not as kind or friendly.
Is it because of the people pleasing? Are you trying to please people, shrink yourself, make people like you?
I would say I have a lot of anger in me, and I have sometimes used it against other people that I truly enjoy to be with.
Really?
Yeah.
Want to tell me more about it?
Yeah. I have been in a really dark place since college because of some of the things that happened in high school. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've taken some of my anger out on other people that are really good for me and that I should have kept. And I regret not keeping them, and I regret how I've acted, but I know that there's nothing I can do to change the past, and that all I can do now is heal. And I've done a great job of healing and coming back to who I am, that person I was in high school. And while I can never go back to that person entirely, I'm trying to kind of be the person that is not the asshole, because there was a time where I was the asshole, and I think I regret it, and I'm glad that I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, where's that anger coming from in high school? Were you bullied?
It came from certain people that just were jealous of me or who picked on me for certain reasons. And it really got in my head because it happened for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm beginning to learn that, those people that bullied me or picked on me were not the people I want to be around with in the first place. And even though I was around them, I didn't really have a choice to be around them because we were in high school together. Mm-hmm. And I've really learned to be around the people that I'm truly meant for, because the people that I'm truly meant to be around will come to me. And they already have, actually, a little bit. And that is a sign of self-growth. And because I am attracting people now that are good for me, that are not assholes. Yeah. And it took a year or two for me to heal the version of me that was very angry. But I think that it's worth to anyone out there listening who is in a deep, dark place now that is deciding where they're, I would say, angry at themselves. You can always recover and heal yourself. You don't have to, be the perfect person at age 25. You can heal yourself at age 35, age 45, age 35, at any time, and become the best version you want to be. And I think that I've healed. I was angry from 18 to 22, and I've healed from when I was age 23 to 24, and it's really changed my life.
And you think that you are a much better person. And what a great way to end this episode.
Yeah, and I don't just feel that I'm a much better person. I feel like I'm being the version of myself I've always wanted to be. And I would say, without the pain and without the suffering I had from the bullies or from whoever or the people that picked on me, I never would have developed this amazing version of myself that I have now.
Well, I have read that when people attack you like that and they pick on you on a constant basis, usually it ain't about you. And that it's always something that they don't like about themselves, and they pick on the littler person.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of great people out there who have great intentions, and there's a lot of people who anyone can do anything in this world, do great things, and everyone deserves peace. Everyone deserves mental happiness. So much hate has been instilled in their lives from parents or family members or society that people have gotten to a point where they're so angry that they don't know how to heal, and they take it out on others, and their identity is shaped on hate, and a lot of it's not their fault, and so we have to give grace to people, but also reach out and try to have mental health services or support systems for people so they can really find who they truly are, because everyone really deserves that.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Can you tell the listeners what you want to leave with them today? Your message.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for letting me be on here with you, Cindy, because it's been a long time since we've spoken. I had a great time acting with you in The Odd Couple, and I do miss everyone from that cast.
Aww.
And I'm glad that you reached out and wanted to talk. This has been really great, and the fact that you have a podcast is really incredible. I would love to, hang out with you more, and maybe even start my own podcast because of this. You've somewhat inspired me to start my own podcast.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, and I think that I have a lot to offer, and I think I need to express that to the world rather than holding it back. And to everyone out there, just know that you are enough, and that you deserve all the mental happiness in the world. And no matter what anyone else tells you about yourself, you deserve the love that you're looking for and the peace that you're looking for, because the life that you're looking for does exist, and it does happen to people even when you don't see it. So believe in yourself and just know that you deserve the love and the happiness that you want, because everyone does, because everyone deserves to find their true self, and that's different for everyone, but just find it, and you'll do the unique things that you've been put on the earth to do.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast, Jack. It's been so lovely to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed our talk, and it's inspiring to hear us talk together. I really appreciated you bringing me on here.
Oh, and where do you want the listeners to follow you on social media?
My social media on Instagram is, it's a great question. I don't even know my Instagram handle. I think it's Jack, JACK_Carper, CARPER 2. I'm pretty sure that's my Instagram handle. I will say, I don't use Instagram much. I just use it for the followers that I take advice from. I don't post much. So if you follow me, you won't really see a whole lot of recent photos.
You might be surprised.
Yeah. I hope some people follow me. Maybe they'll see some good things. But a lot of my Instagram use is for receiving good messages from others. I just haven't posted much because I don't know. I don't always believe that posting is great for me, so I just use it to follow others. So, follow me if you'd like.
All right, sounds great. Thank you again, Jack.